Hi, I'm Rob Simons. I'm the manager of metallurgical engineering at Paulo. I've been there for 37 years. 37 years ago was a little different time. That was back in the 80s. Yes, that was a long time ago. Ronald Reagan was our president. Nobody had a computer on their desk. It was a very weird time. We communicated with paper, of all things. If we wanted to have a letter sent to a customer or receive one, we had to do that through FedEx. So you'd actually have to send them in an overnight letter package. So it was definitely a different time. When I first started on, I interviewed actually for the sales engineer spot. At the particular time, there was only one other metallurgist. That was Julius Turk. He had been there for a very long time and he was approaching the end of his career. So I actually hired on as a metallurgical engineer working with Julius Turk. And through that time, it was a different world back then. The desk telephones only had 2 digits. My phone number was 55 in this world where we have big long strings for telephone numbers now. And it was a different world and it was a different application. We worked very heavily, because we were a smaller operation, we worked very heavily with our customer base. So we would work with our customer on equipment design, on product design. We'd work with the customer on material selection and what they were actually looking for. We would follow the parts all the way through the shop. We would design the process. We would get it executed. We would make sure we got the right material properties and get it back to our customer to make sure our customer was satisfied. So as we look at today's age, we have multiple departments and each department focuses on one of those functions. So it's a much better experience for the customer as we've expanded throughout the years. The culture at Paulo is very family oriented. We have a wonderful family that actually operates the company, the Rasher family. They're very involved, very data oriented, very analytical, and it has a very strong family atmosphere. Another strong part of the Rasher family is they believe in data. The grandfather of the 4th generation we're working now actually had computers back in the 60s where we were applying computers to do process and order management. And now we have an immense amount of data that we capture, very data focused, where we're capturing data from every conceivable part of our process and our equipment. We know what switches are doing, we know what solenoids are doing, we know temperatures, we know pressures, we know gas flows, we know absolutely everything there is to know that's going on in our furnace. Very strong analysis of that data, and it's a direct response to the family that runs the company. What's the thing I'm most proud of while working for 37 years at Paulo? That's really, really hard to boil down, because there's been so many opportunities to do a lot of great things because of the environment that we do have. I would say metallurgically, the thing that I'm most proud of is the development of the equivalent diffusion model that was generated from tens of thousands of furnace cycles and their product characteristics, so we can do predictions on new parts when they come in, to set up new processes on exactly how to execute that to minimize product variation and maximize productivity of the actual process itself. We use this exclusively in our quoting process so that we know exactly how to set the cycle up and exactly how to give the customer the best price for the process we're performing. What advice would I give to somebody just starting out? You gotta have fire in the belly. You gotta have the passion. This is an industry unlike any other that you'll see out there as being a commercial heat treater, because we get to interact with so many different organizations. We get to interact with automotive people. We get to interact with aerospace people. We get to interact with the medical industry, with the tool and die industry. Any industry you think of, we get to interact with. And why is that great? If you got passion for metallurgy, you have passion for physical metallurgy, you get to see how each one of those individual companies operate. How do they design their parts? What's important to them? How do they design their processes? How do they approach issues? How do they solve problems? So if you got fire in your belly, this is the best place to learn. The essential qualities and skills that are essential for success in metallurgy is you have to have a passion for metallurgy, and you have to understand the fundamentals. The stuff they taught you in school. How do transformations actually occur? What are metal gas interactions? How do they happen? One other extremely critical thing is you have to have a complete open mind. Preconceived notions are going to be the enemy, because things don't always behave as you think that they should, or as you've read about or you read case studies. So you must look at each individual issue with a complete open mind and let it tell you what's going on.